Welcome back to the Truth Room, a space without walls, lit only by courage. Here, we speak softly, honestly, and bravely, because sometimes the heaviest battles are the ones no one sees, the ones fought in the quiet corners of our own minds. Today, we journey together into a topic that lives in many homes but hides behind many smiles. Depression, and not just what it is, but how we can stand up to it, how we can manage it, one small, brave step at a time. This is not about a grand cure, but about the quiet, powerful tools we can all use to rebuild our days. Sit with me, breathe with me. Let's walk through this story together. In a small, bustling estate on the edge of Kisumu, where the sounds of daily life were a constant symphony, lived a woman named Terry. Terry was known for her warm, booming laughs, the kind that started deep in her belly and spilled out, making neighbors turn and smile even before they saw her face. Her laughter was a landmark in her community, but life has a way of changing colors quietly, like a photograph fading in the sun. One year, the pressure at her job became a constant hum in her ears. The bills on her table seemed to multiply overnight, their bold black print a constant accusation. The relationships she relied on, the friendships that were her foundation, began to crack under the weight of unspoken disappointments. And so, Terry started withdrawing. It wasn't a sudden decision, but a slow, quiet retreat. First, she stopped opening her curtains, preferring the familiar dimness of her room to the bright, demanding world outside. Then she stopped cooking her favorite meals. The joy had gone out of the act, and food became just fuel, if that. The phone would ring, and she would watch it vibrate, a tiny, frantic animal on the table, unable to pick it up. The laughter faded first, then the appetite, then the energy. It was like watching a vibrant, colorful painting being slowly whitewashed, day by day, until only a faint outline remained. One morning, she sat on the edge of her bed, the weight of the blanket feeling like a lead sheet, and whispered to the empty room, "Why does everything feel so heavy? Why can't I just be?" That same day, her aunt, Mama Lorna, a woman whose presence was as calm and steady as an old acacia tree, came to visit. She didn't ask a lot of questions. She just sat with Terry in the silence, letting it fill the room. After a long time, she looked at her niece, her eyes full of a knowing sadness, and said gently, "Depression is not weakness, my child. It is not a choice. It is a wound. And like any wound, it can be healed, slowly, gently, one day at a time. But you have to tend to it. You have to be willing to touch it, even when it hurts." And that was the beginning of Terry's journey. Not a leap, but a single, hesitant step forward, guided by her aunt's wisdom. 1. Building a routine. Finding structure again. At first, Terry's days were shapeless, a blur of waking up and sleeping again with nothing solid in between. The emptiness was overwhelming. So Mama Lorna helped her write down a small, almost ridiculously simple routine on a piece of paper. Wake up, make your bed, drink a full glass of water, take a 10-minute walk outside the door, shower, eat something small, rest. Simple things, small steps. But the first day Terry managed to make her bed, she looked at the neat, tidy rectangle and felt a tiny flicker of control. Each checkmark at the end of the day felt like a victory. She wasn't healed, but she was moving. She was no longer just drifting. 2. Setting small goals. Celebrating the little wins. The mountain of life was too high to climb. The thought of cleaning the whole house or answering all her emails was paralyzing. So she broke life into tiny, manageable pieces. Mama Lorna called them one-thing goals. We'll wash only the cups today, not the whole sink. Read just one page of that book on your nightstand. Fold only the clothes on the chair. Leave the rest for tomorrow. Every small win brought a spark of energy back into her life. Finishing a small task created a small pocket of success, a tiny antidote to the feeling of failure that depression whispered in her ear. Sometimes healing begins with doing just one thing. 3. Mindfulness. Returning to the present, Terry's mind was either replaying yesterday's pain or catastrophizing about tomorrow. It was never in the present, so she learned to breathe again. Every morning, she set a timer for just 5 minutes. She sat quietly, closed her eyes, and didn't try to stop her thoughts. She just focused on her breath, whispering in her mind, in and out. When her mind wandered, she gently, without judgment, guided it back to her breath. She also started a gratitude journal, but a simple one. She wrote just 3 things each day that went right, no matter how small. I woke up. I made tea without spilling it. I said hello to my neighbor. Slowly, her mind stopped drowning in yesterday's pain and tomorrow's fears. It began noticing that today had small, gentle lights too. 4. Movement. Healing through the body. Depression made Terry's body feel like it was made of stone. So she chose the simplest movement, walking. Just 10 minutes, as her routine dictated. Past the mango tree at the end of her street, past the children playing, their laughter a distant sound, past the kiosk where she used to buy mandazi every morning. With every step, her mind cleared a little. The rhythm of her feet on the ground was a physical anchor in the storm of her thoughts. Because movement is medicine, even when done slowly. One day, she saw a flyer for a free dance session at the community center. She was terrified, but she went. And the first time she moved her body to music again, after so long, tears fell. Not from sadness, but from the sheer, overwhelming feeling of being alive again. 5. Support. Letting people in. Terry had built a prison of silence around herself. She learned that the only way to dismantle it was to open the door. So she started talking. She called a friend she had been avoiding and just said, "I haven't been okay." She finally took Mama Lorna's advice and visited a counselor who gave her the words for what she was feeling. She even joined a small support group where people shared stories just like hers. The first time she went, she just listened. But hearing someone else say, "I thought I was the only one," broke something open in her. Some days she spoke, some days she only listened. But being seen and heard, without judgment, made her feel human again. 6. Lifestyle adjustments. Feeding the mind through the body. Terry learned that her body and mind were connected. She started paying attention to what she ate, choosing fruits, vegetables, and foods that gave her sustained energy instead of a quick sugar rush and crash. She reduced her late-night scrolling on her phone, the blue light, and the endless comparison feeding her anxiety, and tried to sleep earlier. She cut down on alcohol, understanding that numbing pain only buries it deeper, giving it time to grow roots. These small choices, these acts of self-care, became the bricks with which she rebuilt her foundation. One morning, months after she first started her journey, Terry sat outside her house watching the sunrise, something she now made a point to do. She was sipping tea, feeling the gentle warmth of the cup in her hands. She realized something profound. Healing isn't a straight line pointing up. It's a winding path. Some days are easy, some days are hard. Yesterday, she had cried for no reason, but today she was watching the sunrise. Depression hadn't vanished. It might still visit like a cloud passing over the sun, but she had tools now. She had a routine. She had people she could call. She knew how to take a walk. She knew how to breathe, and tools, when used daily, build strength. They build a shelter against the storm. Dear listener, if Terry's story feels familiar, if you too wake up to heavy mornings wondering why everything feels so hard, please remember this and hold it close. You are not alone in this room or in this world. Depression is an illness, not your identity. It is something you have, not something you are. And healing is not only possible, it is happening right now in the small, brave choices you make. Start small. Breathe, move, talk to someone, seek help just as you would for a fever or a broken bone. Hold on to the little sparks of light, they grow into flames. And as always, thank you for joining us in the Truth Room, for your courage, for your empathy, for choosing to sit with these difficult truths. Every time you listen, you make this space safer for someone else. Every time you share, you open a window for another, where truth brings freedom and courage brings healing. Until next time, stay gentle with yourself. Stay gentle with others.
Battle truly won. Take the medicine, breathe in deep, secrets that your heart will keep. Your precious life more than you know. Watch your inner courage grow.